This is the Seven Figure Agency Podcast. Discover the strategies and techniques to grow a highly successful and profitable digital marketing agency with your host, Josh Nelson.
What's up, digital marketing agency owners? On today's video, I want to talk about one of my favorite strategies for getting high quality clients into your world on a very, very consistent basis. And that's called leveraging the Dream 100 outreach process. And so if you want a proven strategy to get in front of your ideal clients that you can land clients on demand, you're going to want to watch this video. There's a great book that was written several years back, now going back probably 2 decades, called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. If you haven't read it or listened to it on Audible, I highly recommend you read this. This is one of the most impactful business development books ever published. If you've read it, try The Ultimate Sales Machine in comments. A lot of my sales philosophies and kind of prospecting philosophies come from this book. But in the book, one of the best chapters by Chet Holmes, The Ultimate Sales Machine, is around this concept of the Dream 100 initiative. And the idea that, if we're going after our marketplace, right, and we want to sell agency services to the best prospects within our niche, right, and I always recommend you serve a specific niche. We work with plumbing and HVAC companies. If you think about your niche in plumbing and HVAC, there's about 150,000 plumbing and HVAC companies on the market, right? It's like, hey, you know what? I've got a big market there within the plumbing and HVAC world. But if I tried to work with all of them, first of all, it'd be very hard for me to get their attention, right? Because there's just too many to really be relevant in that large of a group. Secondarily, not all of them are actually a good fit for our services, right? If we're charging $2,500 a month to build their website, get them ranked, help them generate leads and sales, the one-man operator, the one-man plumber, in my experience, has been the toughest client to retain. They're the kind of one of the easier ones to sell, but the toughest to retain because they don't have a great business. And even if we do generate leads for them, they don't stick around. And so when we were working after everybody within our niche, what we found was, we were very, very inconsistent in terms of our retention. However, when we said, all right, if the universe of plumbing companies is 150,000 of them, what if we just focused on the ones doing more than $1 million per year, more than $5 million per year? And we kind of whittle that down. And then we say, what are the ones that actually already invest in marketing and already value these types of services? We were able to bring that down to maybe 5,000, 10,000 companies in our niche that we want to focus on. And there was power in that process. But the reality is, and I've done the money math, I've kind of explained this to you guys a couple times, if you're charging between $1,000 and $2,000 per month for your agency services, and the goal is to grow to 7 figures and multiple 7 figures, the reality is you only need 40 to 60 clients to be at 7 figures within your business. So you don't need all 100,000 of them, right? What you need is the right prospects that you can get in front of, that you can get their attention. And so there's something extremely powerful that happens when you narrow your focus from I'm going to go after all the people in my niche, or even I'm going to go after just the top dogs in my niche, to I'm going to hand select 100 prospects that I know are a good fit for our services, that I know will get value from what we do, that I know will have a huge impact on our reputation in the industry, on our clout within the industry, that will pay what we want them to pay. When you can focus on that really tight group, you can get their attention, you can land clients on demand, and you can basically write your own ticket. And so I want to share a little bit of the cliff notes on how to implement the Dream 100 initiative for outreach and why it's such a powerful, powerful concept. Number one, there's this powerful universal principle called the 80-20 principle. And what it states basically is that 20% of the prospects will generate 80% of your results, right? In as many terms, there's a lot of ways to look at the 80-20, and there's always an 80-20 of the 80-20. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the 80-20. We're going to go after that little piece of the pie, that 20% that's going to generate exponential results for us. Number two is we're going to narrow your list from everybody to that elite group, to the ideal clients that we know that we've hand selected that we can do business with, that will benefit from our services, that will want to stay with us long term. And then really where the rubber meets the road is we've got to refine that list down, right? So if we narrow the list to our top, we do need to spend some time looking at those companies. Like maybe they've already got an amazing website. Maybe they're already crushing it in their market. Maybe they don't need us, right? And so out of your initial grab, let's just say of 250 to 300 prospects that you think you can help, if you look at it, there's going to be some that already have things going on that wouldn't be a fit. There's going to be some that it just clearly don't have any interest in doing internet marketing at this point. And we want to hand select and refine and really boil it down to a nice tight list. From there, we've got to map the outreach, right? Once you've got the Dream 100 list, that's kind of the baseline. And the time invested dialing that list in, making sure you've got a really great pool that you're fishing in. The next piece then is to start to do the outreach, right? And the idea that Chet Holmes explains in the book is you want to take your small group of prospects, that 100 dream prospects, and you want to take them through a process where they go from not knowing who you are at all within the space, maybe not knowing anything about you, to you're contacting them again and again and again and again with relentless and professional outreach. And what you want to have happen is them go from they've never heard of you to they're like, man, I think I've heard of that company before. I got an email or got something in the mail or I saw one of their webinars, to, and I feel like these people are everywhere, right? I feel like they're sending me stuff. I feel like they're showing up at our events. I feel like they're in my inbox, they're on my social feed, all the way to maybe even thinking, wow, that company is a little bit over the top. They're a little bit obnoxious, to, you know what, they're been so persistent. They seem like they've got their act together. I might as well give them a shot, right? That's what we're after with our Dream 100 initiative, is having a small group that we can become so relevant to, so out in front of, that they feel like they have no choice but to do business with us. And so in order to do that, we've got to map the outreach. We've got to really figure out, how do we send the first thing? How do we send the second thing? How do we make sure we're touching them again and again and again? We've got to map that outreach strategy. And then number 5, we've got to become omnipresent in their world. Really, like, that's not just in their inbox. That's everywhere they are. We want to be showing up. We want to be in their full field of vision. And so to me, becoming omnipresent means we're in their inbox because we're emailing them. We're in their, maybe their text messages. We're definitely on their social feed. We're definitely potentially in their DMs. We're probably at their events. We're in their mailbox because we're mailing stuff to them. And so over time, it feels like they're seeing us everywhere, right? In a professional way, where we're adding value. So there's a fine line with this omnipresence from just being obnoxious and spammy to the point where they literally are like, hate you. There's a fine line between that and then being like, wow, these guys are on top of the ball. They're professional. We want to be omnipresent in a very professional and persuasive way. And so Cliff Notes here, we want to really build that Dream 100 prospect list. The way I like to say to do this is, you can join the association, which you should absolutely do. Get the list of the people paying to be part of that world. From there, what I'm going to suggest you do is join the subgroups. And there's subgroups within any niche of like the top people, and they hang out together and they do masterminding and they do continuing education together. You can get access to those groups by joining them, by participating in them, by maybe joining the group buying programs and things like that. And then use a service like Coldlytics, where you can also hand select companies based on certain criteria and get the key details, right? And so we're going to narrow, from there we're going to narrow the list. So we get the big list of our ideal prospects, and from there we want to, I would say, use a reverse depend process. And you can do this with Coldlytics, you can do this with reachmarketing.com, where you upload a list of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 prospects, and then they will match those company records with how much revenue they do, and some other key details, so that you can say, look, if they're not doing at least $1 million, they're not on my Dream 100. If they're not doing at least $1.5 million, let's just say, they're not on my Dream 100. So you go from a big list to a narrowly defined list, and then you want to get all the necessary data associated with each one of those, right? You want to make sure you've got, if this is my dream prospect list, and we've whittled it from 5,000 to 2,000 to 1,000, and then we start to hand select our Dream 100, For that Dream 100, we want all of the data points, right? And this is where you, a researcher, somebody on your team wants to get involved and like look up what's the company, who's the owner, what's the owner's email, what's the owner's cell phone number, what's the owner's personal social profile, so you can hit them from every single angle. And then you want to manually review. You really want to spend some time looking. What's their website look like? Does it look like they're paying attention? Does it look like they respect these types of services? In this case, you're not looking for someone that's got no website, because we want people that have already shown a propensity to spend, right? They have a certain amount of revenue. They're obviously doing proactive marketing. They've got a website. They're already doing marketing. But we're also looking like, does it look like there might be opportunity for improvement? Right? Because if there's no room for improvement, you might get their attention only for them to say, look, you can't really help me. You got to make sure they respect these services, but they also have a need, right? If they don't have a need, doesn't matter. You don't have any problem to solve for them. And that's a really important aspect of this process. And then you're going to go in and you're going to manually have a service or a team member go in and get every data point that you can, right? So that you can contact them, not just on email, not just on cell phone, not just on social, but you can hit them from every single angle. And there's some great tools to help you append this data. Hunter.io, Seamless.ai, True People Search is one where you can look up cell phone numbers. Lots of great tools to help you do that. We have a resource that we can kind of like get all of the data on one sheet and have all the data points before you import it into your system for the outreach process. Really, the objective is we want known people that we've hand selected that we feel confident would be a great fit for our service, right? If you invest the time to develop a list in this way, then you and your team can absolutely give it 100% effort, because every one of those that raise their hands, that expresses some level of interest, should be a lay down prospect that's super interested in doing business with us. A really good example of one of our members that have executed this and had exponential growth is Jim and Brian from Roofer Marketers. And actually, when I first did this training way back in, I think 2000-ish, 2000 and prior, they were at about $4,500 in monthly recurring revenue, working in the roofing space. And they took this concept and a lot of the other concepts from Seven Figure Agency, but then they took this concept very seriously. And Jim hand-selected his prospects, and he committed to become omnipresent in their world. He started dropping stuff in the mail and getting aggressive with his outreach. Within a matter of months, actually back in 2019, within a matter of months, they had grown to $27,000 in monthly recurring, like really getting accelerated growth. Today, they're doing over $5 million per year. They recently sold the business for a great multiple to the big CRM within their space. And this Dream 100 process was a huge part of that outcome and that success for them. So I can tell you, this absolutely works. Now, homework, what you want to do is map out a great outreach process. At a minimum, you want to be touching these people once a month, right? With your Dream 100, they should be getting something from you in their email, in the mail, on their social feed once a month. Until they either tell you, don't ever contact me again, or they say, hey, let's do business, or let's meet, let's talk, right? So commit to relentless outreach and really make sure that you're hitting them again and again and again from a lot of different channels so that they can't miss you. And then from there, you want to develop your omnipresence, so they're seeing you everywhere they look, right? And again, I've got a deep dive training on this. If you're interested, type Dream 100. I can get you access potentially to some of these resources that we use. Don't sleep on mail. Like a lot of us, we like to just automate things with email, especially in today's digital age. But there's something extremely powerful about dropping physical things in the mail that they have to open, make sure that the package is unique, that it stands out. But really, you want to drop something in the mail in addition so that they know you're serious. And send nice things. Send things that will capture their attention. Drop a newsletter in there. And then you got to make sure you're picking up the phone too. Don't just expect to email them, message them, mail them, and expect them just to magically show up on your calendar, right? You should be calling in addition to your team calling, in addition to, if you're in the market, trying to drop in at their office, if you happen to be in a city where these Dream 100 prospects are, so you're becoming known and you're actually getting their attention over time. Definitely make sure you set them up as a custom audience so that you can hyper target them on Facebook, and they're seeing your ads, they're seeing your case studies, they're seeing your webinars and the content that you roll out on a consistent basis. So again, I could go much deeper on this, but I really just wanted to use this time on today's video to explain to you what the Dream 100 is, why there's power in focusing on a small subset of your list and really going after them in an aggressive way, and then being strategic with how you touch them again and again and again and again. Because when you do it, you will absolutely become known in a small group. You will absolutely start to get appointments with them. You will absolutely start to grow your recurring revenue. So hopefully this is useful. If you got some good insights from today's video, type Dream 100 in the comments here. That will trigger me to send you some additional resources on this front. If you don't have the seven-figure agency roadmap training, where I walk you through the seven-figure agency model and kind of how to position yourself for accelerated growth, you can access that for free by going to sevenfigureagency.com/roadmap. If you'd like some help on actually implementing this and having our team kind of give you the swipes and the deploys and the templates, reach out to us. You can go to sevenfigureagency.com/schedule to schedule a time. We'll meet with you one-on-one. We'll get a sense of what you've got going on in your agency right now and show you exactly how we can help you implement this and take your agency to the next level quickly. So that's it for today. If you got value, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can get access to videos like this. I'm rolling out new videos every Monday at 10 a.m. Hope you got value, and I look forward to talking with you again real soon. Now go implement the Dream 100 and land some of those ideal clients.